I see.
Yes.
Yes. I was just about to go to go to part two, point two, but I'm
Mhm.
just talking about this first point. And
Mhm.
if you know, the title is called I'm Still Under Construction. That's the
Yes.
title for tonight. And I was just sharing with them about how we as women, we
Right.
need to take the initiative and the responsibility and recognize that, yeah, I need to be fixed because there's layers of me that is
Right.
still broken.
Right.
And not continue to put on this falsified, you know, uh, area about I'm perfect. I don't
Mhm.
need fixing. I don't
Mhm.
need this, da 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 da.
Mhm.
But yeah, so we as women, we have to start. If you want to really start healing
Mhm.
appropriately, you need to just go ahead and take the truth, the initiative, and say, you know what? I'm not where I used to be. I'm not the person that I was 5 years ago.
Right.
I'm grateful that yeah, I have matured in this level
Mhm.
of my life,
Right.
but there's still other areas in my life that still needs work, that still
Right.
needs, repairing, right?
Absolutely.
My temper is not like it was 10 years ago or 5
Mhm.
years ago. Now I'm more calm now. I'm more,
Right.
more gentle now with my
Mhm.
words, but I still have this area about my
Mhm.
life that still is under construction,
Mhm.
right? And so that's what I mean about that. Because, ladies, as long as we live in, you always going to have experiences in your life that's going to create these layers, you
Right.
know, and it's going to affect you in so many different facets. So
Mhm.
so you need to just accept the fact I am still under
Under
construction. So put
construction.
that in the
Amen.
comments, y'all. I am still under
Under
construction.
construction.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we need to acknowledge that
Amen.
we don't have it all together.
That's
We
right.
don't. And I'm not saying as an insult, we never will. But
No.
we can strive.
Right.
We can strive to be perfected in certain areas in our life. But a lot of us don't want to acknowledge that, that there's nothing wrong with them, that they're
Mhm.
fine. And I was just saying about, if you remember the reality shows of the housewives of New Jersey or Atlanta and this, that, whatever,
Mhm.
and how they had their cat fight moments, and they always saying stuff like, "Oh, you just jealous because I got it all together, honey, and you reckless and da 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 da." And they will come back with the attitude like, "No, you the one that jealous because you da 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 da." People don't want to acknowledge the fact that, yeah, they're broken. They want people to see them as pitch perfect, the beautiful house, the beautiful life, the beautiful hair, the beautiful this, that, or whatever. But under all that makeup, all that fake hair, all that nice house, they just is tore up to the floor up. But they don't want the world to see that part of them. Okay. And so you don't have to be the wife, of a reality show. That's like that everywhere. A lot of women are pretending to be something that they're not. A lot of women are pretending, that their life is just the way it should be, that they don't have no flaws, they don't have no drama, and that what have you. But I'm telling you, that's self-destructive, because it's going to blow up in your face when you least expect it. And so, yeah, I'd rather be fixed, because at least I know I'm growing, I'm developing, right? And I'm not lying to myself anymore. Go ahead, Tisha.
That is a word. I I wanna I so this is I could say share so many different things,
Yeah.
about how we as women sometimes we lie to ourselves. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Um, I used to think that enduring was a good thing. Sometimes as we
Mhm.
try to fix ourselves, as we try to seek perfection, we're like, oh, we
Mhm.
gotta endure, we gotta go through some horrible, horrific pain. But I realized, in my early 40s, I'm 42
Yeah.
now, you know,
Yeah.
you don't have to have these horrific moments. And
Mhm.
I love this. I'd rather be fixed than be perfect, because there's no such thing as perfection. There is no such thing. We all
Yeah.
have to really work towards fixing those things that, with God's help, right? That we
Mm-hmm.
really want to change and alter. But more importantly, what are you learning through your fixing? Because
That's
how many
right.
of us repeat the same things over and over again? We got to fix the same thing over and over and over again, over
Over
and
and
over
over
and
and
over
over.
again, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason for that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Sometimes you do so much fixing that you get exhausted because you're doing so much fixing and fixing and fixing and fixing. You're not really
Mhm.
learning this anything from the experience, you know?
Right. Right.
Because again,
Right.
we're just living, in these moments every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Even in our 40s and 50s and 60s, we're just going through life. But again, if you're trying to seek perfection, you're going to always hit a wall. You're going to always feel like you're overwhelmed. Like I used to feel that way. I'm overwhelmed or anxious because I'm trying to seek perfection
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah.
fixing. I'm so into fixing things in myself. And I want
Mm-hmm.
to share this. It's not what people've done to me, is what I've tolerated,
There you
right?
go.
It's what I
Yeah.
put up with. It's what I accepted and just put under the rug. It's what I just endured and say, well, hopefully one day this would change. I had to check me before I checked out.
Mm-hmm.
And the more I
Mm-hmm.
started to check myself,
Yep.
the more I
Yep.
started to check out of certain
Yep.
situations. And
Yep.
I'm really blessed every single day for that.
Yeah.
No, I'm not where I want to be in life. Absolutely not. I'm mother of
Right.
5 kids. There's so many things that I want to accomplish. There's so many things that I want to do. But I had an amazing conversation with somebody earlier today, and this person said you got to cut those emotional attachments to people, because
Mm-hmm.
if you have that emotional attachment to people, it's going to, just like Teresa said, it's going to drain you.
Yeah.
And also it's going to allow people to control you,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's the major thing right there. That's a word in itself,
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. For sure. Um, I'm sorry, I was texting my daughter.
Go ahead.
Um, but yeah, I think uh we gotten so comfortable of faking.
Hmm.
We have
100%.
gotten so comfortable of faking
Right,
our life, our
right,
lifestyle,
right.
because we see so many people on social media, on television, even in our everyday life. We looking at their life and see how things look so picture perfect, for them. And so we just go ahead and put on this facade that, oh yeah, my life is great, everything's great, and what have you. But at the end of the day, you just don't realize how damaging you are, and how much more, you keep hitting that glass, it's gonna break altogether. Right. And we just really need to start taking ownership, and say, I am broken and I need to be fixed, and own it, and be proud to say that, you know. And I just believe we need to stop faking so much, because we used to say, I fake it till I make it. Well, now people are really they saying it for real, but now it's like, okay, stop faking. No, you gotta be you now. This be you. Showcase the scars, the wounds, all of that, so people know that you're human, that you make mistakes, that you're growing. You lost some things, you messed up on some things, you're not less of a woman, yeah, you caused this, yeah, this your fault, you own up to it, but you're being repaired. That's what being under construction is all about. You're being repaired, and it's still some repairing to do, right? So let's go to the second point tonight. Our second point of what we need to talk about. So I may not have it all together, but I'm being put together one piece at a time. I may not have it all together, woo, child, but I am being put together one piece at a time. Think of a puzzle, a big old jigsaw puzzle, right? You see it, And you may be, because I love puzzles. I love it. I love puzzles. That's a childhood hobby of mine, right? And I could put together a 1,500 piece puzzle if I really focus and concentrate. I get that bad boy done within 2 days. For real, for real. That's how serious I am with that puzzling, right? But here's the thing. I have to do it one piece at a time. One piece at a time. I may get impatient because it might be one of those challenging puzzles, because they got all the intricate details and the colors and stuff like that. And I'll be like, this piece gotta fit. This gotta fit. And then I'm like, well, it don't fit to want, because if it did, it would have been there. And that's how it is with our life. We want things to be done so quick, fast, in a hurry, but you gotta understand it takes time. You can't have everything all together. How are you going to learn? How are you going to grow? How are you going to know what is real and what is not? How are you going to know, who really do care for you, who doesn't care for you? You cannot have it all at one time. Everything comes with a plan. Everything comes with processing. Everything comes with thinking. Everything comes with strategy. And it is a process, again, one step at a time. So, yeah, you're not going to have it all together. I'm sorry. That's just like when people win the $1 million lottery. They get that $1 million ticket, and baby, they're ready to go ahead and get the car, they get the house, they get the vacation. They get all this at one time, but yet they're going to lose it in a matter of weeks because there's no discipline, there's no education about finances, they don't know how to invest, right? They just go ahead buck wild crazy. No, you have to strategize that thing. You have to really educate yourself about what to do with this kind of money, because all I know what to do is to spend, 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 but I'll be broke within a month.
Yes, it looks like Tawanta froze. And I'm just piggyback on what she says, putting things together one piece at a time is also one day at a time. It's also one day at a time. But you got to have a plan. How many of you woke up this morning and you didn't have a plan today? You didn't have an intention today. You didn't write down what the top three things. And Therese, let me know if Tawanta's still frozen. But you didn't have a plan or a purpose today. You didn't have you still haven't written down your plan or your purpose, for this month of April or for this quarter, right? You got to have a plan, no matter how big or how small, no matter how long it's going to take you to get there or whatnot. You gotta have a plan, because some of you guys don't have a puzzle, because you don't have a plan. You don't have a plan. So, you're sitting there. Thank you, Therese. You're sitting there running around, in circles every single day with no plan, no purpose, you know, no real execution, to take action, you know, and feeling like you have to get all these things done. But for what? What's the purpose? Why are you doing what you're doing in the first place? Is it bigger than money? Are you really about mission over money? You know what I'm saying? It's like it's so many layers and layers and layers to this, that we want to put so much things together. We want to make money, we want to be successful, we want to lose weight, we want to have healthy relationships, we want to have all these things. But what is your plan? Right? What is your plan? And taking those things and making it one day at a time. When you have a plan and when you have consistency and when you literally conquer your fears every day, you can become unstoppable. And I'm not just saying this for you guys. I'm saying this because I tell myself this all the time. Every single day I battle with fear. Every day I battle with self-doubt. Every single day I battle with procrastination, right? All those things come up. But if you have that consistency with a plan, your puzzle, those pieces are going to fall into place. They're going to come together when you get yourself together,
Mm-hmm.
right? When you get yourself together and you be consistent and you have a plan, all those things are going to flow. Everything's going to come together. You see a lot of people at the end of each quarter, they're making a lot of money. They're seeing a lot of progress. They're building a lot of traction. But that's not
Yeah.
instant. It's because of all the work they've done for 90 full days, all the consistency, all the resilience, all the dedication, all the discipline. And y'all, I get tired. You know, I'm a full time entrepreneur. Heck yeah, I get tired. Be in the middle of the day, I'm like, I want to take a nap or I want to chill. I want to rest. I'm like, no, Leticia, you didn't make any money today. No, Leticia, you didn't connect with anybody today. No, Leticia, you're not even halfway through your to do list today. You know, you haven't even
Yeah.
put anything together, and you got to really fight through those personal emotions. Listen, and I really want to talk about this one day. We gotta stop putting letting our emotions lead us. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying this for myself. This is something that I have to work on every day. Not be led by my emotions,
Yeah.
right? Having that self control for myself to say, you know what, I'm not going to go there. You know what, I'm not going to talk about that. You know what, I'm not going to do this, because you're setting yourself backwards, right?
Right.
You're not leading with your head, right? You're leading with just like, oh, I'm sad today, so I'm just going to operate in that feeling,
Mm-hmm.
right? I
Mm-hmm.
could be sad right now, but I'm saying, you know what, I'm still going to show up and do the show and dominate and deliver and do my
Yeah.
part,
Mm-hmm.
and let God deal with everything else, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's what I wanted to say for
Sorry,
you.
y'all. My
It's okay.
Wi-Fi had dropped on me. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties. I'm so
Yeah,
sorry. Yeah, so let's go into point three. I'm sorry about that, y'all.
it's
Point
okay.
three. Okay, so what we want to continue talking about for point three is my scars are my permanent makeup.
Hmm.
Why? Because it enhances my strength and resilience.
Yes.
My
Mm-hmm.
scars are my permanent makeup. Yeah. And
Mm-hmm.
this is all about, really exposing your truth, your experiences of what
Mm-hmm.
you endured, what life brought to you
Mm-hmm.
that was, very traumatic or very painful or very, discouraging. And here's the thing too. Some scars don't have to be really life threatening or what have you. It could be scars that it was just a valuable lesson learned. But for a lot of us, we have some very difficult scars. Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
Can
you're
you
back.
hear
You're
me?
back. Yep. Yep.
Okay.
You're back.
I was about to say, not this again, Lord, because I can't deal with it. This gets on my nerves. But if that happens, Tisha got it. But
Yeah.
but yes, we need to, just share the stories. This is what makes us strong. Because when we went through those incidents, those scars, moments in our lives, it was too painful to talk about. It had us in a dark space where we just didn't want to talk about it. We were too embarrassed, we were too ashamed, and we didn't want to, we just want to handle it. But as time passed on, life continued to go, and you were growing through this process, and you started to heal. You took ownership and recognized that, yeah, this area of my life needs to be fixed, because this is not only hurting me, but it's affecting my children, or it's affecting my marriage, or it's affecting my career. And I don't want that to happen. I want my children to also heal. I want my children to know that they can still love regardless of being rejected or being, being hurt. They looking up to me. So I have to take the responsibility and not try to hide my scars, but expose my scars and let them know that I'm standing strong on these scars. Because, yeah, once upon a time, it did have me hiding, but now I'm standing bold in my truth, because it has taught me to be strong. It has taught me, to recognize that, what, I'm a tough woman. I could get through anything. By the grace of God, I could get through it. It didn't feel good. Yeah, I had to lose some things. I had to lose people in my life because they were too toxic, but I'm glad that I survived. That's what makes you resilient. That's what makes you strong. That makes you powerful. It really, really does. But a lot of women, unfortunately, they don't want to reveal those scars. It's just like putting on makeup, for real, for real. We got imperfections on our skin, and it what is called coverage, right? We get the coverage and we put it on those areas, but we don't want people to see those, just the dark spots and all of that. And then we put on our foundation and all of that, and our skin look like a gorgeous canvas, and Letitia, she can rock it, honey. She can rock that face, baby. Yes, she got yes, she does, honey. She can rock it, right? But that's how we do. We cover up our scars because we don't want people to see the real us. We want people to see this image, right? But you can't be like that forever. You just can't. And you're not hurting anybody but yourself, right? So yeah, I'd rather just go ahead and tell my story as to how I got that scar, how it affected my heart, how it did damage me at one point, but again, I'm still under construction. Yeah, go ahead, Tisha.
None of us have a flawless foundation,
We
right?
don't. Come on.
We None of us have that. We may start it there at childbirth, but from the time you were born to now, you probably got thousands of scars on you,
Yeah.
especially if you had a bunch of kids, right? If
Yeah.
you have stretch marks, cellulite, all the things. Um,
Yes.
I don't know why I'm so happy right now, and it's been a while since I can honestly say. The main thing is that I want to say two things about scars. A lot of times, the people who did not appreciate our scars,
Mm.
because our scars is, like you said, it's part of who we are, it's part of what we've learned, it's
Yeah.
part of how we grew.
Mhm.
There's people
Mhm.
in your life right now, those of you who are watching, who you probably dealt with people who never appreciate your scars. But when you're around people, and
Mhm.
I think it's been this way for the first time in my life, who actually loves all your imperfections. I mean,
Mhm.
everything to the point where you're like, is this normal? And you have people who actually help you grow and build from that.
Mhm.
It's just
Mhm.
amazing. And another thing is that your scars show you how strong you are, how dominant. I love that word domination, right? I've been saying it for years, and I think
Yes.
now I'm starting to step into that. It shows you how dominant you are, you know.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
the third thing I want to say is that what have you learned from your scars?
Yes.
What have you learned from them? Because if you don't learn from them, maybe you're going to still keep getting the same scars, like I said before.
Mhm.
What have you learned
Mhm.
from them? Are you repeating
Mhm.
the same bad habits over and over again? Are
Mhm.
you not
Mhm.
stepping outside of your comfort zone over and over again? That's leading you to situation that you're in today. You know,
Yeah.
um, I
Yeah.
feel like now in my 40s, every single day I'm outside of my comfort zone even more than I was in my 30s and 20s, right?
Mhm.
And you're just
Mhm.
holding yourself accountable and you're not making excuses. You're
Yeah.
really enhancing your internal strength and
Yeah.
resiliency. Those things are important. But a lot of times, especially in the era we're in the era of the narcissism of the world, where it's I'm gonna point the finger, I'm a
Mhm.
gaslight, I'm a
Mhm.
sabotage, I'm a
Mhm.
triangulate, and all those things, where we make excuses for
Yeah.
our scars and we sit back and
Yeah.
we complain about over and over again.
Mhm.
High value people don't want to hear that. They want to, okay, what's the next thing? You fell.
Yeah.
Now what you learn from that on the way
Mhm.
down, and you're gonna learn a lot on the way down. You're gonna learn even more on the way up,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
That's true.
So
That's true.
what have you learned? Nobody's perfect. We can look at other people and say, wow, their life is so perfect. Their life is so amazing. Everything comes easy to them. No, it doesn't.
No.
Maybe that person decided to learn from their scars and not highlight them all the time,
Mhm.
right? And maybe
Mhm.
you're just not.
Yeah.
You're not ready to move on. And that comes with emotional maturity. I've dealt with people just
Mhm.
recently that they have very horrific and horrible personalities. Great people, bad personalities, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And when they held accountable for it, maybe they've gotten away with so many people. You see these people in the church, they get away with so many things. And then they meet that one person and said,
Mhm.
no, you're not going to do that to me today. You made her act
Mhm.
like that with
Mhm.
Sister Joseph and sister this and brother that and bishop
Mhm.
this. You may act that way. You may have even cussed out the priest, but you're not doing that to me today
Right.
or tomorrow or the next day or the
Right.
next year.
Yeah.
And then they go into like, oh my God, I'm going through this, I'm going through that. And I'm like, girl, what they got
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
do with you acting out of character?
Yeah.
Nothing. So
Yeah.
we can't use our scars as weapons against to defend our crappy behavior. Ladies,
There
we
you
gotta
go.
stop doing that. Because everybody's going through something.
Mhm.
Everybody you meet in the store, at the laundromat, at the bank is going
Mhm.
through something. I don't care if
Yellow.
they got a hoopty or a Ferrari outside in the parking lot. Everybody's going through something. And we got to really understand is that we all are carrying something. Let's be more kinder to each other. Let's treat people right and act right,
Mhm.
and not
Mhm.
just because you're having a bad day. You don't know what that next person's been through. And you could
Yeah.
turn around and just be a huge blessing to them, but because of our attitudes and our behaviors, and because we want to look at our scars and use them as weapons and say, well, I'm gonna have an attitude because of this, that, and the third. Nobody's gonna want to deal with that.
Mm-mm.
That's not coming from a space of strength. It's not, or dominance, or you're not learning anything.
Right. Right.
You're just saying, I'm gonna act this way because this person did this to me. And I used to do that all the time. I'm mad because he made me mad. No, I allowed myself to get
Yep.
to that point and to that level
Me
to
too.
where I have to say, I didn't have that self control to say, you know what?
Mhm.
I'm not gonna go there. I'm still gonna have a great day.
Mhm.
And you know what? You
Mhm.
gotta have people, y'all, and this is just because I have people in my life now who have allowed to hold me accountable. And even though I may get upset or feel confronted, I still have to say, Tisha, I gotta take that in because all
Mhm.
they're doing is holding me accountable. I had, a person this morning say, you are just, why are you getting upset about this? What's the point? And I
Yeah.
had to
Yeah.
say, you know what? Why am I getting upset? Why am I allowing this small moment to stop me from doing what I'm supposed to do or finish out my
Mhm.
day strong? Right?
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
Guys, this is the make it or break it year. This is the make it or break it quarter.
Mhm.
Okay. And we got to really
Mhm.
learn from our scars and turn them all in and just help them to enhance our strength and build up our resilience. Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was also in that same situation too. Just
Yeah.
realize like, yeah, Twonta, you got to do better than this.
Yeah.
Sometimes we all have to. You got to learn to talk to yourself literally
Hmm.
and say, "Girl, you need to get it together, okay?
You do.
Because you ain't doing too good,
Hmm.
okay? You ain't doing too good, right? And you just because it's not healthy.
No.
It's not healthy.
Mm-mm.
It causes more stress on you than it does the person that you are fussing at.
Yeah.
It really does.
And that
It
person you're fussing at ain't even thinking about you. Their
no,
goal was to get you upset. Their goal was
yeah,
to project their negative thoughts about themselves onto you. And they won because they're sleeping. They never lose. I was just talking about this morning. The person never loses a night of sleep, a day of work,
mhm,
a time away from whatever curricular activities they want to do. They're operating in their existence while you're upset.
yep,
Hmm.
yep. They go there and snorting little hearts out, and you up there crying,
Hmm.
just stressing and worrying
Hmm.
about. No, no, no,
Yep.
no, no. Yeah, the scars, allow your scars, while it's healing for some.
Mm.
There's some fresh scars. Some of you got fresh scars right
Yep.
now. You're currently dealing with some stuff right now. And it stings, it burns, it
Yep.
hurts, it irritates. And some of you are really, you're trying to hide it, you're trying to cover it. And here's the thing, you remember when we got like physical scars on our bodies? And we will go to our parents and say, I got a boo boo or whatever,
Hmm.
and they will go ahead and fix it. They will get the ointment, they'll get whatever they need to do to make it feel better, right? So it could heal properly,
Yeah.
you know. But, for us, we should know how to remedy our scars. No, we want to just go ahead and just wash it off real quick and just cover it up, hide
Right.
it, and not realizing that we're making it more worse than what it is. It's not going to grow. It's not going to get any better. It's going to
Right.
become affected, right? Because we don't want to acknowledge. We don't want to let people know that, yeah, I've been hurt. I've
Hmm.
been I've been played,
Hmm.
right? I thought my relationship was gonna last
Mhm.
forever, but it
Mhm.
didn't.
Didn't
Okay,
happen, and that's okay.
it had come on, it had a cocaine, but I'm still standing. Huh? I'm still standing. I'm still fly. I
Woo!
still got it going
Praise
on.
God.
Okay, because
Mhm.
what they're not going to see me, crying and nope,
Mhm.
nope, nope. I'm not saying I don't have my bad days. I don't have my moments because we do.
Yeah, we
We
all do.
all do.
Mhm.
But I'm not going to pretend either. I'm not going to be like, "Oh, I'm fine. Everything's perfect. Everything's great."
Yep. Yep.
No, I'm still under
Nope.
construction.
That's right.
Okay.
And you know what's so crazy? You're talking about scars, and certain scars become
Mhm.
permanent. Why? Because we keep messing with it instead of letting it heal.
There you go.
Let the situation play out. Somebody needs to hear this on the replay on the live. Let the
Come on.
circumstances play out. Stop trying to interject or trying to put your own trying to, get in between what God's
Yeah.
trying to do. Let it
Yeah.
heal on its own. When you
Yep.
keep picking at your scar and keep messing with a scar and keep not waiting for it to heal properly, it's going to be
Exactly.
noticeable,
It's
you
gonna be
know,
noticed.
and it goes
Oh,
into
yeah.
our testimony. So when people
Yeah.
say, "Oh, Leticia, you look so good," it's because I don't wake up looking how I feel.
Come
So
on.
unless I tell you what I'm going to, you ain't gonna what I'm going through. You
Good.
ain't gonna notice it because I
Yeah.
show up today with no makeup on, still looking flawless. You feel what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
does Twonta. So does Therese, our show producer. So we don't have to always be noticeable. We can say, you know what? I'm gonna let God heal that. I ain't
Yep.
gonna step in. I ain't gonna say nothing. I ain't gonna touch it. I ain't gonna even talk about
There you
it
go.
unless I have to use it in a situation for my testimony to help somebody else. But for
Exactly.
some of y'all walking around here, y'all scars are all noticeable. People
Mm.
tell you walking to work attitude. The girl, it's 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Hello, let's go.
Already
Like
hot.
why
Already
do I
hot.
can tell that you got scars and bruises and bumps and black eyes and
Yes, child.
we don't always
Yeah.
have to walk out being so noticeable of our
Mhm.
scars. Sometimes God will put you through a situation so he can use it for a testimony for somebody else, for
Exactly.
something else. That's why when you learn from it, you could even somebody said run you can run through it,
Hmm.
right? Where you
Hmm.
don't always try to draw attention to it.
Yeah.
Focus
Yeah.
on that's why we tell you focus on the positive, not the negative. Focus on the what you learn from the situation, less instead of focusing on what you lost.
Yeah.
Because that thing you lost is a blessing too.
Hmm.
I lost quite a few things these past 8, 9 months, and I still say, Lord, I thank you for taking that away from me. That
Hmm.
desire, that want, that love, that all that stuff I had in the past, I don't have
Hmm.
it no more, and I thank God
Hmm.
for it.
Hmm.
Before I would have been like, oh my God, I lost it, I lost it.
Hmm. Hmm.
You feel what
Hmm.
I'm saying?
Yep.
It's we gotta turn things into learning process and not become
Yeah.
so noticeable of what
Hmm.
we're going through, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah. I want y'all to put in the comments and say to yourself, I may be scarred, but
right.
I am healed.
You healed. That's right. You healed. You
I
got
may be
and the power
scarred.
of words is
I'm,
everything.
yes.
Yeah.
I may be
Yeah.
scarred, but I am healed. Even though you
Hmm.
are still going through the process, but you got to speak that out into existence.
Right.
You may still feel some irritation. You're still dealing with the bickering or arguments or whatever with loved ones or family, with children or whatever, but you're healed. You keep on. You may have cried your little self to sleep last night, but that's okay. I'm healed because I am not going to allow, you
Hmm.
know, the scars of my marriage, my job or loss
Right.
of job or whatever to affect me. I'm here for a purpose, with a purpose. And I'm not going to let anything or anybody, including myself,
Hmm.
destroy that.
Right.
Okay. I'm a strong, powerful, beautiful, woman that has a whole lot to offer to
Hmm.
the world. And I'm
That's
not
right.
going to allow, my scars to define me as
Right.
weak or, always a crybaby, or, always we, no, I'm not,
Right.
that's not me. That's not me.
Right.
And even if you have been doing that, God can elevate you. He can help you through that process. That's why I said there's layers upon layers
That's
of
right.
us as women. All of us are,
Right.
we have layers of ourselves.
Amen.
We're not going to be able to be fixed in one sweep. It's a
Right.
process.
It's a
You
process.
can't build a building overnight. It takes
Nope.
time.
Amen. Amen.
It takes
You're right.
time, right? Yeah, so put that in the comments, y'all. Okay? Put that in the comments, because this is
Right.
for you. We need to start, repeating these things to ourselves, and reminding ourselves, I'm still beautiful. I may
Yep.
have scars, but I'm still beautiful. I'm still intelligent. I'm still powerful. I'm worthy. Come on, y'all.
Yep.
You got to pull these words out, and remind yourself who you are. If your
And you
husband don't
still
say it,
here.
yeah, I'm still here. Come
Yep.
on.
Yep.
You know, come on.
Yep.
Thank you, C.
I love that, Cece. I may be scarred, but I'm healed. That's right. Claim it. Claim it
Claim
and
it.
believe it. Claim it and believe it. And
Yes,
believe
Lord.
it. And when you look at other people who are so-called healed and who are so-called successful, who you deem it is, and you may know people that are genuinely blessed. Like
Yeah.
they literally turn every horrible, horrific situation in their life and actually turn it into their for their good, and they're
Hmm.
living in their purpose and they're aligned with their purpose. Don't be
Yeah.
jealous of them. Look at that as, you know what? If God bless them, I know He's gonna bless me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Y'all, I just got my life insurance license. Don't y'all know I took my exam 4 times, 4 or 5 times?
Did
But you know
you?
what kept me going? Every time I failed, I looked at my score. My scores kept going up. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? But I kept looking at other people in this industry, in that industry, and I said, you know what? If they can, if they're successful in this industry, I know I can be successful. I know I
Yeah.
could be successful. You know,
Yeah.
I sat with a guy. He took the test 13 times. And
Wow.
he's making over 6 figures already this year, and it's only April. So I'm like, hell yeah, I'll
What?
take the test 13 times to get this. It's worth it then, right?
It's worth it.
It's how you look
Yeah.
at it, because he could have stopped at the third time, the fourth time, but the resiliency is going to keep you going.
Come on. Talk
You know
about
what I
it.
mean? It's going to keep you sound. If I have, is that's why boxing, what is 10 rounds? They go back
Yeah.
in again. It
Yep.
only counts if you pass once. I said all
Yep.
I got to do is pass one time, and
Hmm.
I passed
Hmm.
last Friday, right? So
Hmm.
it's on the Friday before last. Sorry, you gotta
Hmm.
keep going,
There you go,
right?
Gilbert.
You
I
gotta
see
keep
that.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
That's awesome. 13 times.
13 times he took it. 13 times, and
Wow.
that's his success
Wow.
story. Because if I hadn't heard that story, I probably would have stopped after the second, third time. I probably would
Yeah.
have said, no, this is not for me.
Yeah.
But not only did I see a person who tried something so passionate about they want to do so many times, they
Hmm.
passed it, and now they're extremely successful at it. That was the
Hmm.
drive for me. So that's why I say
Yeah.
those of you who are watching, you if you quit, you don't know how many people that you are building a line of quitters.
Come on.
Because he didn't quit, I kept going. Because he could
Mm.
have quit. He didn't know me from a hole in the wall all the times he was taking this exam. He passed that exam years ago.
Yeah.
But it's because he sat down with me, he said, I took it 13 times. And I looked at him like, what? And he got a nice suit, big family, money
Yeah.
in the account, getting awards and accolades. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna keep going with this. I know I ain't gonna take 13 times for me to do it, but I know I'm gonna pass at this. So then, guys, you gotta turn those negatives into positive. You're not always gonna get everything right the first, the second, the third, the
That's
fourth
true.
time. Sometimes you
Yeah.
gotta keep going at it again, and each time you're learning. You're learning. Each
Yeah.
time I went back, I learned. So I knew where I made a mistake on. I knew what I need to focus more on. Things like
Hmm.
that.
Hmm.
Like Twonta said, it's a process.
It is a
It's
process,
a
y'all.
process. And
It
when you work
is.
against the process, you're actually
Yeah.
pushing yourself away more of your
Hmm.
success, from your success,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
That's the
Keep
truth.
going. No matter how
Keep
much,
going.
no matter how overwhelming it gets, no matter how hard it gets, keep going. Keep going.
Oh, Jamie says, "Hey, ladies, just stopping by to say
You
hello."
going to bed early, girl? Jamie. Girl, you can bring us to the bed, girl. You can listen while you lay in the bed, girl.
Okay. Oh my God, she said she
Dude,
gotta get ready for work.
I'm going to bed. Girl, you can listen while you're in bed, girl.
Oh, that's funny. That's
Work
funny.
for understand. Tag a coworker.
Oh,
Get somebody to stay up with you. Jamie's
yes.
one of my clients. I love her.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. Let's get
Go
to our
ahead.
last point for tonight, ladies. So, our last point for tonight is every day is a chance to rebuild your
Why the girl?
self. Listen, y'all need to type that in the comments for
Type
yourself. Go
in
ahead and
rebuild.
screenshot that every day.
Don't restart. Rebuild.
Come on.
Don't
Whoop.
don't reset. Rebuild.
Every day is a chance to rebuild yourself. I'm telling you,
Don't
because what
redo.
you
Rebuild.
yeah, because what you think is working for you, you see it's not solidified. You see it's not the real thing. So you might have to
Right.
take that piece out and find and work around to find something that works for you. This is for
Mm-hmm.
you, not for your sister, not for your man,
Mm-mm.
not for your no, for you. You cannot take what people is offering because what they offering for you is not pure.
Not pure.
It's not pure. So
Yes.
you got to take, here's the word, every day is a chance. It's a chance. Okay. You make that decision. You
Mm-hmm.
make that choice. You need to decide, am I going to rebuild myself or am I going to just be like a vacant lot? I'm going to be
Mm-hmm.
vacant, meaning that,
Mm-hmm.
you see some structures out there, but they're not complete. And you wonder when is that going to be together because now it's becoming an eyesore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you
Mm-hmm.
want to stay where you are? You want to stay mediocre? You want to stay in that position where people had pretty much labeled you as crazy,
Mm-hmm.
labeled you as lazy,
Mm-hmm.
labeled you as, oh yeah, she, she's this, she that.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Mm-hmm.
this is the opportunity for you to rebuild
Amen.
yourself.
That's right.
What you like, what you love, what you want to put for yourself, what makes you
Mm-hmm.
happy, what gives you joy. So you're going to
Mm-hmm.
add that to yourself. That rebuilds your temperament, your
Mm-hmm.
character, you know your style, whatever it is. But
Mm-hmm.
you have to be the one. Don't depend on people. Don't depend on your closest friends. You love them, they're good folks, but they're not living in your shoes. They're not walking your
Mm-hmm.
shoes. They're not walking your journey either.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all may
Mm-hmm.
have some similarities, but it's still separate. You still live in different lives. You still, because God has a plan for all of our lives,
Mm-hmm.
and His plan has already been perfected.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you
Mm-hmm.
can't you can't change what God has already solidified. What He has already
Amen.
perfected for you.
Already in you. Already
It's
in you.
already in you. Okay,
Mm.
but you got to be patient, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to, again, everything is a work in process. It's a progress and a process.
Mm-hmm.
Two different definitions there,
Two
right?
different.
So
Come on
you
now.
you and you gotta love yourself each day. Each
Mm-hmm.
day is gonna be sweeter, and then it's gonna be some days where it's gonna be like a downfall, honey.
Mm-hmm.
There's gonna be some days you be like, I just want to throw this day away. It's like trash. I don't you get so upset with yourself because some days just and
It'd
especially
be a
those
lot.
yeah, especially those moments when you just didn't see it coming, honey. And it seemed like you being attacked in all different
Mm-hmm.
directions. If it ain't your man, it's your kids. Ain't your kids, it's your neighbor. Ain't your neighbor, it's your mama. Or whoever.
Mm-hmm.
You just having a
Whoever.
bad day. But you know
That's
what?
right.
Regardless how life presents itself, you
Yep.
still strong. You still
Mm-hmm.
standing, right? And you are not going to let anybody dummy down you and tell you that you would never grow.
That's
You're never
right.
going to achieve. You're never going to be successful. You're never going to be certified,
Mhm.
right? Because you're too old. You in your
Mhm.
40s, your 50s, or 60s for some. I don't know. But you probably have been told that once upon a time that you're at the stage of your life where you just need to just go ahead and relax because there's not
Mhm.
nothing out there for you now. That's a lie from the pit of hell.
Yes, it is.
Period.
Yes, it is.
You
Yes, it
cannot
is.
dare receive what people telling you. They don't know what if they listen, if they don't know what their future gonna be like, what makes you think they know about yours?
Not at all. Nothing
And
about
you
yours.
gonna receive it as gospel
God,
from people
God
that don't
knows
even
the plans He
know.
has for you. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So take this chance today to start rebuilding yourself. You know
Mhm.
what those tools are.
That's right.
Use those tools. Iron sharpens iron, meaning
Amen.
that you find someone that you know that you can relate, that could be a blessing to you, that can
Mhm.
mentor you, that can guide you, that can
Mhm.
help you, that won't judge you, but
Mhm.
they will correct you
It will
in love.
correct you with love and
Because
pure
that's
intention.
yeah, that's what true friendship is. It's
Mhm.
about telling you the truth when you don't even want to hear the truth.
Right.
They're
Right.
not about tickling those ears. They're about telling you, girl, listen, you need to stop doing this because this is not helping. This is not healthy. If you really want to have a success with this, that, or whatever, you need to chill off of that.
Mhm. You're right.
Okay. I'm telling you because I love you. I'm telling you
Right.
this because you better than this.
And it's what you need to hear.
Yeah. Go ahead, Tisha.
Rebuild. There's a house up the street, um, up the street from my house,
Mm-hmm.
and it was an older house, and
Mm-hmm.
they're rebuilding it, but they had to tear the original house down first
Right.
before they started rebuilding a new one. Right?
Yes.
I take that same physical situation or example also with our
Mm-hmm.
head. In order
Mm-hmm.
for you to rebuild mentally, you got to tear down some of those fears, those
Yeah.
those negative thoughts, right? Those
Mm-hmm.
self-sabotaging behaviors,
Yeah.
right? That negative mindset. Some of y'all don't even want to be around yourself. That's why when you're home by yourself, you listen to music and all these things because you can't even sit with your own thoughts and just exist by yourself in your own quietness and peace. Because the
Yeah.
minute you sit in peace, you have a negative thought. The minute you step in church, you thinking everybody talking this about you. Everything at work, same thing. The world is against you,
Yeah.
and then people
Yeah.
not even thinking about you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
before you rebuild, you gotta tear down that up. You gotta tear down those things that are blocking you or not putting you ahead, making you
Yeah.
get ahead. That's up here.
Yeah.
Because then that's something you can build up on, right? When you get rid of those things, now you can rebuild on a solid foundation. Because some of y'all
Mm-hmm.
keep rebuilding, tearing down, rebuilding, tearing down, because your foundation is messed up,
Right.
right? You gotta like get those habits and those ways and those thoughts in check, in line
Mm-hmm.
with where you're
Mm-hmm.
going. Because that's
Mm-hmm.
where you can
Mm-hmm.
really rebuild from. To where now people want to tell you, just like myself, that oh, Leticia, you're not the same as you were years before. It's now where
Right.
people who couldn't work with me before can now work with me to have access.
Yeah.
Right? Elevate yourself, elevate your mindset. If it's hard
Yeah.
for you to do, get around other people who have an elevated mindset. Listen to other people who have an elevated mindset.
Yeah.
Because if you keep
Yeah.
being around gossipers and people who talk about this and stuff, how are you gonna rebuild from that?
Yeah. Then
You're
you start to
exposed.
gossip.
Yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
do the same thing. You're
Yeah.
exposed to negativity all the time, all
Mm-hmm.
day long.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
they say in the Bible with the woman in the dress. If you're going to walk through coals, you're going to get dirty,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you got to block those things, and that's where you're going to have a chance every day to build from. It's the minute you wake up in the morning, you should instantly be flooding your brain with positive, motivational things,
Yep.
inspirational things, spiritual conversation. The
Yeah.
minute you, the minute from breakfast, lunch to dinner time,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
that's going to manage and help you to have control over your behaviors and how you do operate throughout the day.
Right.
Right? Take control. That's how you give yourself a chance. Start taking control of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Start taking
Mm-hmm.
control. And I'm saying this because I'm working on that with myself every day. Start teaching. You got to take control of yourself.
Yeah.
You got five
Me
kids
too.
looking at you. You got five kids learning from you. Everything you do, you could every
Yeah.
inch you get in the house. Mommy, where you going? I'm just going to the bathroom. What happened? Oh, everything they watching, watching, watching,
Yeah.
watching. To the
Yeah.
point where I turn around, Warren like this. I'm like, what happened? Nothing. They just looking. You know,
Ooh,
because they
yeah.
learn it. They learn through what? Watching, not
Yes.
what we say.
Watching.
What they watching us. These kids are watching. They're
Yeah.
observing. The people around you are watching. They're observing,
Mhm. Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
What did we
Mhm.
say? Oh my God, Trish just put a chat. Uh oh, y'all, listen. Yeah, y'all. Next week is our last episode. We're gonna take a 2 week break, but next week is our last. I want Trish wanted to make sure we share that with y'all. So make sure y'all join us for next week episode. It's gonna be last show for season 15. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's all I have to say on that. Get
Yeah.
rid of that. Tear down like the house up the street. You we don't even know there was an old rusty dusty house before that house was built. Some of
Right.
y'all in a brand new rebuilt situation. You still talking about the ex. You still talking about the last job. You still talking about the old business, girl.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
thought you were rebuilt. I thought you was in a new place. Why are you talking about the old one? Why are you
Mhm.
talking about that? That's
Mhm.
what we do all the time. We talk about the past, the past, the past,
We
the past.
do. We do. Yeah, we still
Right.
stuck in lock in time. We are.
Why are you
And
stuck
that
there?
slows
Don't
the
stay stuck there.
process.
Yes.
Yep. It
Yes.
slows the process when we keep on talking about, well, they used to do it like this. Well, we used to do it like that.
Uh-huh. Used to.
No, no, this is new. This is new. God is
Mm-hmm.
working on a new thing. Can you
New
see
thing.
that?
New
He's
thing.
working on a new thing. The
New
old
thing.
has passed away, honey. The
Passed
old has
away.
passed away.
It's
And now it's
non-existent.
time to walk in your new.
Yep.
It's time to walk in your new. It's time to improve you, improve your walk, your stance, your posture,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
all about you.
Yep.
Okay. And again, it's not going to happen overnight, but you
Right.
still striving for excellence. You still, healing. You
Right.
may have healed in certain areas of your life, but there's still other areas that you're still healing,
Right.
that you keep on growing in that area. Like Tisha said,
Right.
continue to start, feeding your mind with positive
You
affirmation.
know, I want to say something that somebody told me a month ago. He's one of my mentors in the insurance
Hmm.
industry. And he said,
Hmm.
Leticia, how much money you want to make in this industry? Because, I have another business, but he
Hmm.
was mainly talking about the insurance industry. He's like, how much you want to make in the insurance industry? I'm like, I want to start off by making $20,000 a month.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
I want to start off there. That's possible.
Hmm.
And he was like, okay, okay. So if somebody sits down with you and they want to know more about what you do and they want to get into the business, what would you say when they ask you, well, how much money you're making, Leticia?
Yeah.
And I'll say,
Hmm.
well, I'll tell them the truth. I'll say, I'm not there, but this is how much. He was like, no, 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 no. You let people know you're on track to making 20K a month. See, and when he said that, it really made me shift
Mm.
my mindset because when you tell people where you're going, they're gonna
Yeah.
want to go with you. Okay.
Mm.
When you tell
Mm.
somebody, listen, I'm on track to making $1 million this year, they're gonna say, oh, I need to go. I need to get on her bus because she's going
Mm.
somewhere. But when you tell
Yeah.
them, well, this is where I'm at, this is all I'm making, I'm just making $1,000, they're gonna say, okay, girl, I need to go find somebody who's on track to where I'm going. It's almost
Yeah.
like a bus, right? We get on the bus all the time, we go on the subway all the time. Know that when you're trying to get to Times Square, you may be where? Over in Queens somewhere, right in the Bronx.
Right.
You're not worried
Right.
about whether it ain't there yet. No, you're gonna hop on because it's on track to get there, right?
Hmm.
So we gotta
Hmm.
really have that mindset of like, you know what? No, I'm not where I'm at, but here's where I'm on track to going, right?
Right.
So when we
Right.
operate in that mindset, then we operating in our actions to get there all the time because we're on track to
Yeah.
get there. How you on
Yeah.
track? Through being consistent, through showing up,
Hmm.
through
Yeah.
through pushing through your personal negative emotions and procrastinations and things like that. You get it on track. You're on track,
You on track.
right? You're
Yeah.
building, you're rebuilding, but you're on track to getting your life and
Yeah.
business to where you need and want to be, right? Because people don't really care so much about where you are; they care more about where you're going.
Where you going?
Because you could
Hmm.
be anywhere right now, but where are you going? What's the next thing for you,
Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
Where you're
Yeah.
going, and they want to
Yeah.
go along with you. Because if you're
Mm-hmm.
going in their direction, they say, "Hey, girl, can I ride with you?"
Right. Right. Right.
Okay. If you're going up, to their destination, they're gonna say, "Let me hop in. Let me follow you. Let me listen to you more. Let me let
Mm-hmm.
me let me go ahead and support your business or support your cause or whatever." Because your mission, they're looking at your mission and your vision,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Not where your bank account is now. They're looking at, well, where's your mission? That's why it's good when
Yeah.
you have a business to have a mission statement.
Mm-hmm.
Our
Mm-hmm.
goal is to be the number one. Our goal is to be the top. Our goal is to be the lead. Our goal is to be the head in this industry. Where are you
Mm-hmm.
going? What's your mission?
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
people are looking at and looking for. We always
Right.
talk about the now and the past. We're not
Yeah.
talking about what's ahead.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you're spiritual and religious, like I know most of y'all who watch this are, that's all. That's the main foundation of the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
God kept telling the people, this is what I see for you. He keeps revealing things to people. Is we don't listen all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He
Mm-hmm.
always tells you where you on track to going, but we
Mm-hmm.
go back into what we see now in the flesh or what's in our hands,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, we get
It's hard.
impatient at the
We
end of
do,
the day. We just want to do
especially
what
if
we
you're
want
in
to do.
leadership and you're trying to lead a group of people. I understand. I
Mm-hmm.
have a those of you who are in ministry and leadership in ministry. I have a huge heart for you guys because it's hard
Yeah.
leading people who don't think big and who don't
Mm-hmm.
think the mindset of we're going to be well, we are all on track to getting there.
Yeah.
They keep thinking like what you just said. Well, we used to do this and we used to do that. We used to they
Mm-hmm.
used
Mm-hmm.
to. No, where are
Right.
you going?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where are you
Yeah.
going?
Yeah, and there's a lot of people who are so stuck in their ways.
Yes,
That's another problem too. People are so stuck in their ways, and they're
right.
going back back in 1992. This is how we used to do it back in the day. Well, baby, we not back in 1992.
And we can't go back
1992.
in the day
Yeah,
because
yeah,
if I wasn't born around that time or have even experienced what went on, I can't go back
hmm
with you.
yeah,
You feel what
yeah,
I'm saying? Like it's hard for
hmm
people to go back there with you.
yeah,
People are always looking ahead.
hmm hmm
Hmm.
yeah. So that's why it says you have to be the one to rebuild yourself.
Right,
You got to take the lead.
right,
Right? And not follow what other people suggest or what they say
right,
about your future.
right,
No. Mm-mm,
right.
that's dangerous. Don't do that.
It is.
You
It is.
just you allow God to order your steps because he knows exactly where you need to be and where you are right now, even though things may not be actively moving for you, is the perfect position where you need to be.
Amen.
Because
Amen.
now you can really take the time because there's no distractions.
None.
You can take that time to really, examine yourself.
Ooh.
You know, that's the thing we need to start doing too
Yes.
because a
Yes.
lot of us right now are in this position where you just like, well, there's nothing really going on in my life,
Yeah.
and I feel kind of, and I've been there. I've been there too. But
Yep.
I realized that this is the perfect position where you need to be so you can start re-examining you
Mm-hmm. Amen.
and
Amen.
start, omitting things that is not healthy for you, that is not producing good fruit for you. Because now you eating these bad fruits, you taking in this stuff that's contaminated, that is causing some irritation in your soul, in your
Right.
heart, all of that. And now and you expect growth, you expecting some change, but it's never going to happen because it's already dead, it's already decayed.
You're right.
Okay. So again, you need to take this full initiative of I'm going to rebuild myself, even if I am by myself at this moment in this season of my life. Okay. Take that accountability. And I'm telling you, when you start doing this, and again, start pouring in those positive affirmations, start reading the word every day, even if it's just a scripture a day, that's fine. That's a
Mm-hmm.
start.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to start seeing some things taking effect in your life.
Amen. You're right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, y'all, this concludes our topic for tonight.
Yep.
I hope it really had helped you, because a lot of us women, we don't, like I said, we don't realize we are under construction. There's a lot of us that still want, we want things to happen so quickly, but it's not going to happen the way we want it to happen because we got to still deal with the areas that has not been fixed that we overlook. So hopefully this will get you guys some insight about you and where you are right now. And that will shift you because now we're in spring. Summer's right around the corner, guys, right? And we're halfway done with this year. It's going to be June before you know it. So we're halfway done with 2025, believe it or not. Wow. And I know a lot of you really want to take that latter part of 2025 and just go crazy with it in a positive way. And it can happen. It's never too late. It's never too late. We just got to go ahead and make that move and start healing our, get healed and just take one day at a time to start building ourselves to be that woman that we are supposed to be. Yeah, I'm done. I'm done.
That's right. That's right. Do we have a what's news tonight? I don't
I
see it
don't
here.
think we do. Let me check. I don't think we do.
Yeah, I don't think we do, guys. But again, we'll have a really, really good one for next week, or maybe this is an altar call. Those of you who have anything y'all want us to share during our What's News segment, please feel free to send us an email at sister to sister connection at gmail.com or send myself, Therese, or Twonta a message. And we would love to share that. If you say you're out there seeing people doing, elevated things, we would love to share it on the show. Next week will be our last show for season 15. And we're going to take a really short 2 week break, and then we're going to be back on for season 16. So feel free to share with us any topics that you would like for us to discuss. This has definitely
Yeah.
been a challenging season, but amazing season. It really, really has. But, God is so good. So,
Mhm.
anything you want to share before we hop off to Wanda?
No, just hope to see you ladies next week with our last
Yeah,
episode for the season. And
yeah.
yeah, we go from there.
All right, y'all. So, till next time, love on your sister. Bye, guys.